2017 is here, and with that a whole new year's worth of great games. Here are 10 games that should be on your radar for this year. It's important to note that there are way more great games coming this year, too many for me to possibly list and go through, and these are just a selection of ones I wanted to talk about. Let me know in the comments of any other games you're anticipating that aren't on this list. To start off with, we have Gravity Rush 2, coming exclusively to the PS4 and arriving very shortly on the 20th of this month. The first game originally came out on the Vita and was eventually remastered on the PS4. Being built from the ground up on the PS4 means the sequel looks phenomenal and looking every bit as good as the first. The game takes place just after 1 and follows Cat and Raven. The world is said to have 3 times the amount of missions and be 2.5 times larger. Horizon Zero Dawn is Guerrilla Games' newest IP and one of the most anticipated games of this year, coming exclusively to the PS4 on February the 28th in America or March 1st in the EU, and is one of the best games to showcase the PS4 Pro and a great incentive to get one if you've been holding out. You play as Aloy, a hunter in a world that's a unique blend of primitive tribal and futuristic machines in what is an action RPG. This could be one of the best games this year.
Why am I an outcast? Who was my mother?
Always you pushed for answers. Push yourself to the edge.
Releasing sooner than expected on March 21st in the US and on the 23rd in the EU is Mass Effect Andromeda, taking place 600 years after the end of the original series with a new protagonist called Ryder that, just like the previous games, you create and shape yourself. Mass Effect Andromeda, as the name suggests, is set in a new galaxy, Andromeda. We won't have long to wait to see how this release shapes up in comparison to previous games, as it's a little over 2 months away.
Name ring any bells? What's he to you? And don't lie to me. Just point me to where you're holding him and there won't be any trouble. There won't be. Drop it, now! You first. Get out, or I'll put you down.
Next is personally my most anticipated game of the year, and that's Persona 5, which releases on April 4th on PS4 and PS3. Persona 5 was originally meant to release in the winter of 2014 and has had many delays, however it looks like this release date is finally set in stone. If you played Persona 4, you'll likely know why this sequel is so anticipated. Persona 5 follows a similar core theme to the previous games, essentially a group of high school students who stumble upon a world of shadows, solving their own issues while saving the world. The main theme of the sequel is emancipation. If you have any interest in JRPGs, I highly recommend you take a look at this game.
Are you really a bad person, as the rumor says?
The world is not as it should be. It faces an inevitable, utter ruin. However, mankind is said to hold the power to overturn even the most dire of predicaments.
Personas are the strength born from one's...
Releasing not much later on the 11th of April is Yooka-Laylee on PS4, Xbox One and PC. Created by many of the original team of Banjo-Kazooie and essentially is a spiritual successor to those games. Yooka-Laylee looks to bring back the traditional 90s platformer that hasn't seen much popularity in recent years. The game looks to be shaping up incredibly well and is one of the few Kickstarter games that seems to be delivering the quality promised. Next is another traditional platformer, a trilogy of the original Crash Bandicoot games remade with up-to-date graphics. With no concrete release date for these games, however, it seems we'll get it sometime this spring, exclusively on the PS4. This collection has been long sought after by fans due to how good the original games were on the PS1, and if it sells well, it opens up the possibility of getting a collection of the Spyro games, as Activision currently owns both IPs. Coming sometime in the spring or summer is The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild, Originally slated for the Wii U, it's now releasing on the Wii U and Nintendo Switch, which is releasing around March. We saw a lot of gameplay of Breath of the Wild at E3 last year, and it looks like a fantastic title in the series that changes up a lot of the formula in a completely new open world. Breath of the Wild is the first game in the core series to introduce voice acting as well. Uncharted: The Lost Legacy is the only non-full title on this list. The Lost Legacy is essentially standalone DLC, meaning you don't need Uncharted 4 to play it. We have no confirmed release date, however I'm taking a guess it releases towards the latter part of this year. Uncharted 4 was the game with the most Game of the Year awards, so if that's anything to go by, this release should be great. Nathan Drake and co are nowhere to be seen. Instead, The Lost Legacy follows Chloe from 2 and 3 and Nadine from 4. Apparently the game will be more open than Uncharted 4 as well.
God forbid! No!
You're late. I thought you were a professional.
Oh, you should relax. You'll live longer.
The long-awaited sequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, is out this year. The original game came out in 2010, was one of the best games of the year, coming from Rockstar, who are not only well known for making fantastic open world games, but also for the GTA series. You can guarantee this will be one of the best games of this year. We haven't seen much of the game so far, other than some environments and a silhouette of the protagonist, which looks to go down the route of GTA 5 with multiple playable characters, but no doubt we'll see more in the coming months.
Listen to me. When the time comes, you gotta run and don't look back. This is over.
Last is Detroit Become Human. Detroit Become Human started out as a tech demo called Kara in 2012, and because of the enormous fan feedback, eventually became an actual game. Created by Quantic Dream, who also created Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls, Detroit Become Human is an action-adventure game where, just like the previous games, you shape the story for your actions and choices. What we saw at E3 2016 looked really interesting, and I personally cannot wait for this game. Slated for this year, I imagine it will come out towards the end of the year, although a delay to next year might be possible.
Captain Allen, my name is Connor. I'm the android sent by CyberLife.
It's firing at everything that moves. It already shot down 2 of my men. Saving that kid is all that matters. So either you deal with this fucking android now, or I'll take care of it.
That's it for now. Thanks for watching, and let me know what game out of this list, as well as any others that aren't on this list, that you're most looking forward to this year.